Welcome again to the Global Leadership Podcast. This is part of the series on countering the disempowerment and demoralization we have seen around the globe. And today's focus is on self-esteem and looking at the impact of humiliation rituals.
All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. The connection between modern luxury, who we think we are, and, well, ancient history in the Arabian Peninsula. We're going to explore how that designer handbag might be telling a story that's literally thousands of years old. You hear this kind of thing all the time, right? For some people, luxury brands, your Versace, your Louis Vuitton, they're not just accessories. Not at all. They become this powerful source of identity. It's like a way to broadcast exactly who you are to the world without saying a word. But what if that feeling, that sense of I am that comes with a high-end purchase, has roots that go way, way deeper than just clever marketing? I mean, what if it's thousands of years old? That's the big question we're digging into today. The idea that this very modern behavior is actually an echo of something ancient. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go back. I'm talking thousands of years, to the pre-Islamic Arabian Peninsula. Now, you have to picture it. This was a harsh, nomadic world. Survival was everything. And for a woman, her value, her very existence, was basically defined in one of two very, very different ways. I mean, the contrast back then was just stark. On one hand, if you were a so-called high-born woman, maybe the daughter of a chieftain, your path could lead you to become a high priestess. Your status, your protection, it all came from your direct line to a deity. But for pretty much everyone else, well, that path looked a whole lot different. Think about it. In a world full of tribal raids, women were often seen as a vulnerability, a weak point. So for most women, security came from one place: subservience. You had to attach yourself to someone powerful, a chieftain, a temple, some big figure who could offer protection. That was your shield. And this created a really deeply ingrained pattern where survival itself was tied directly to servitude. But history is never just one story, is it? Things change. And there was this pivotal shift, a moment where a whole new path started to open up for women. A path that wasn't defined by who your father was or who you served, but by your intellect, your faith, and your own personal drive. And you can see the power of this new era captured beautifully just in a name. From a spiritual perspective, the name Fatima actually means awakened consciousness. It's this idea of someone who awakens to their own awareness early on. It's a name that hints at a totally different kind of power, one that comes from the inside out. And this new way of thinking, it is perfectly embodied by one incredible person, Fatima al-Fihri. So she was the daughter of a wealthy merchant, and she used her education and her money, not for personal status, but to build a lasting legacy. Get this, she founded the world's first university. She created a space for knowledge, for empowerment, and she proved that a woman's worth could be built on her mind and her vision. Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Because you know what? Those ancient behavioral patterns, those instincts for survival and status, they haven't just disappeared. Not even close. They've just morphed. They've found new forms, new ways to express themselves. You could even say they found new altars to worship at. And this is where it all kind of snaps into focus. Check this out. That ancient need to get your status from being close to a god. Well, today, it's echoed in getting your identity from being close to a luxury brand, the new gods of our consumer culture, right? And that old instinct for protection through obeying a chieftain, you can see a parallel in obedience to ruler, and that whole idea of being highborn. Well, that lives on in one very common, very powerful phrase. You've probably heard this one. It's not just about being proud of your family. No, it's a modern-day invocation of that ancient, high-born status. It's an attempt to borrow power, to borrow an identity from a powerful, patriarchal figure. It's a direct parallel to how your place in the world used to be decided by your connection to the tribal chieftain. And here's the crucial thing to understand. This isn't about a rational choice. We're not talking about someone thinking this through logically. Nope. These are deep, primal limbic system responses. It's your survival brain kicking in. These are strategies for safety and for status that have been literally encoded in our behavior for thousands and thousands of years. So that's the big question, right? If these patterns are baked in so deep, how do you break free? I mean, how do you move past these powerful scripts that have been handed down to you to find out who you really are? Well, there's a word for this journey in psychology. It's called individuation. And it's basically the conscious process of untangling yourself, your identity, from all the expectations of your family, your culture, your society, so you can finally discover and develop your own unique personality. And look, this path has some pretty clear steps. First, you just have to recognize the external forces at play, the brands, the cultural scripts, all those historical patterns that are shaping you without you even realizing it. Then you start to question them. You ask why. And finally, you do the hard work of defining your own values and awakening your own consciousness. But you have to remember, just knowing all this stuff, that's only the beginning. Real change doesn't happen just because you learned some new information. It happens when you actively start to change those deep-seated behaviors. It's a behavior battle, not an information battle. It's one with the new choices you make every single day. So, we want to leave you with this final thought. When a society's script is written in ink that's literally ancient, how do you write your own story? These patterns are powerful because they're so old, but just recognizing them, just seeing them for what they are, that's the first step to choosing a different path. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What ancient scripts are influencing your life? And what would it take for you to start writing a brand new chapter?